Hey guys, welcome back to a new video where today I'm doing another movie review, this time on the 1996 classic Scream. Scream is one of the most famous horror movies of all time, being directed by Wes Craven, whose name you might recognize from another famous horror movie, A Nightmare on Elm Street. And with the 25th anniversary of Scream coming up later this year in December, I thought I'd review it this year for Halloween, since it's October and, it's a scary movie. So let's just get into it, starting with the positives. Scream is meta in, the best way possible. These aren't your typical horror movie characters. These are, well, the audience. These characters are us. They watch the horror movies, they know all the tropes, like the final girl, and, they know the rules. Like, there's that one scene where Randy tells them the rules, like, don't have sex, don't, drink alcohol and all that, be like the person, the perfect person, and, just don't, and then you won't die. And, it's just so good, because, we see these people who, when watching horror movies, they're like, oh, I wouldn't do that. Oh, why did they do this? That's such a dumb decision. We see those people in the horror movies. And, I mean, yeah, it's great. Hell, they even contradict themselves.
Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
Also, the performances are just really great. David Arquette, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right, does a great job as, this cop who is, new, but, he's still kind-hearted and does a good job. Nev Campbell does a great job at playing, this final girl who, knows the genre, but, doesn't really watch it. Courtney Cox does a great job as the annoying reporter that everyone hates, but, you slowly get to like her. Jamie Kennedy, fantastic as Randy. I mentioned the scene earlier with him explaining the rules, which is amazing. Drew Barrymore, even though it's short, it's still a really good performance, and you can see the fear. Skeet, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, Billy Loomis. He's great and plays the role of the person who everyone suspects to be the killer. And then we have Matthew Lillard. Praise the Lord, Matthew Lillard in this movie. He is phenomenal. He is giving 1,000,000% as Stu, and you can tell every scene he's in, he just had the funnest time filming this. And on a different note, Ghostface feels like a real villain. A lot of, in slasher films, the killer always kind of has a supernatural edge to them. We have, of course, Chucky and, Freddy Krueger, who are, just rely on being supernatural. But even, the killers that seem less supernatural, like Jason and Michael Myers, always have that supernatural edge, because, they both seem, impossible to kill, and, Jason is a zombie and all that. But Ghostface, he's just a guy in a mask and a costume he bought down the street. It feels like this guy could be anyone. And yeah, that gives this movie a really good mystery to it, because it does have that vibe of
everybody's a suspect!
But do I have any negatives for this movie? Well, in my opinion, the ending kinda drags on a little bit. I would say 98% of this movie is very well paced. Maybe one of the most well paced movies I've ever seen. It keeps to a pace, and it goes by fairly quickly. But the ending scene, and spoilers for a nearly 25-year-old movie, but the scene in which Billy and Stu are, explaining, how they did everything and, why they're doing it. It kind of slows the movie down a bit. I haven't really heard this complaint in many reviews I've seen for the movie, so I think this might just be me. And it is still a great scene, and Matthew Lillard is still acing this role, but I don't know, it just doesn't really, it kind of slows the movie down a bit, but that's really my only complaint with this movie, at least from what I can think about right now. I might, come up with a complaint later, but for now, that's really the only complaint I have for this movie. This movie is quite, smart and clever and portrayed the genre in a fun way. But all of that aside, Scream is a fantastic movie, and if you somehow haven't watched it, you should. It's honestly one of my new favorite horror movies since I only recently watched this for this video. Sure, there's problems, but honestly, I can look over all those, because honestly, this movie is just such a fun time, and it's such like a love letter to people who watch horror movies. Like, not horror movies in general, but to people who watch horror movies, because that's the characters we follow in the film. So, yep, it's great. You should watch this. I'm gonna give Scream a 9 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of Scream. Have you seen Scream? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Put your thoughts in the comments below and let's have a friendly discussion. Don't make it toxic. But yeah, other than that, I guess I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.